Does my clothing state change the rating on YouTube?
Come on, Tim.
I don't trust any car near these puddles.
I wear white socks because I believe in professionalism. I believe in looking the part even if it's just in the start line.
Any updates? Proven and T2 on time.
On time?
On time. Scheduled time.
We're going.
You're going.
Yeah!
We're racing. For good or for bad, we're racing, man. Seems like they got most of the water off the course. We're going to go find out. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Stage 4 of the Intelligentsia Cup. This is the South Chicago Kermesse. A bit longer. This is about 50 miles. So a Kermesse is like a longer criterium or a shorter road race. It's like a circuit race, almost. Wind has been a huge factor in years past. This year, not so much. But on the way to this race, we experienced the most torrential downpour that we weren't even sure we were racing, to be honest, once we got there. The course was flooded. They had to cancel a couple of the earlier races in the day, but things cleared up. Ended up being a beautiful day for us. Really not even much wind. And what was our plan on Team Mike's Bikes? Well, we talked about this in the last video. We're not going for the overall. We're not even here for the whole series, so we're going for stage results. Unfortunately, we were down one rider. Ryan was not able to start today after his crash from the day before. If you missed that video, go check it out. That crash was insane on the last lap. But nevertheless, this is a good course for us because longer races, it tends to show the people's fatigue a bit more and you get a better chance for a breakaway. So that was our goal, to really try to force a breakaway. And even me, like usually I will just sit in and save energy for a field sprint, but I was also gunning for a breakaway. After all, my best result at Intelligentsia came out of a breakaway in 2018 when I finished third. Plus, my fitness is probably the best it's ever been in my entire life, so I was happy to go for a breakaway. And if you've watched any of my last couple of videos, the earlier stages, which ended in a field sprint, did not go our way. Super sketchy. So we were really doubling down on a breakaway in this race, and we were on it. I mean, I don't think there was a single move off the front of this entire race without at least one Team Mike's Bikes rider in it. All of us were doing a good job, just like it's like that attack, counterattack thing, one after another. And as a result, this race ended up averaging close to 30 miles an hour for 50 miles, so it was definitely not easy. Just wasn't hard enough to really crack the field and force a selection. But that's bike racing, right? It doesn't always work out in your favor. And that brings us into one lap to go. Actually, this is about a lap and a half to go. But before we get into the footage, I wanted to quickly thank the sponsor of this video, Manscaped. Look, guys, stay clean, stay hygienic. It's really hot. We're in the dog days of summer. Got to stay clean downstairs. The cradle they sit in charges the clippers. They have ceramic blades that stay sharp. There's a light at the end of it. You can see what you're doing. Did I mention they're waterproof? What do you want? These things just work. Oh, actually, I know what you want. You want 20% off. And in order to get 20% off plus free shipping, you follow the link down in the description. With that said, let's jump back into some bike racing. With a lap and a half to go, teammate Chris is going to bring me right up to the front. Now, look, this is a hard effort. The boys are tired. We worked like dogs this entire race for a breakaway that never succeeded. So this is a really tough effort, and he brings me right up to the front. Actually, probably too close to the front. I don't want to actually be on the front of the bike race at this point, right? And you can hear me yelling at him like, chill, just chill, because we're not going to have the same numbers of these other lead-out trains. But I also just don't want to be like on the front stranded with an entire lap to go. Don't forget, guys, these are like 5-kilometer laps or something like that, and it's not a particularly technical course. So this isn't like the last lap of your local technical crit where you can kind of just be on the front, do really hard efforts, take good corners, and wrap up the W. This is a completely different situation here. You really have to time the sprint so well in these types of situations because the end of the race is just going to be a drag race, lead-out sprint finish over 40 miles an hour, and the timing is going to be really important. So you can see that the lead-out teams now are coming around, and this is to be expected. The one thing I don't want to do here is just lose too many wheels. So Germans are on the left in the black, yellow, and white kits. They're going to get organized. Blazers are next. They're going to get organized. And you can see that just the size of these teams. I mean, what were there, like 7 or 8 of the Germans up there? Taking things up at the front. Maybe a little bit too early. We'll see if that works out for them. I'm going to have all the teams surrounding me. I'm kind of pushed out into the wind here, doing 700 watts. Probably less than ideal, to be honest with you. But this is an effort that I'm making in order not to fall back too far, because once you get back into, the cheap seats, as we call them, 30, 40 wheels back, yeah, the draft's good, but you're not going to win the race. So Now we're seeing the other team's best buddies on the left there. We have the Caribbeans, that Rockland Cycling on the left, French-Canadian guy on my left, Bell Lap. So so this is it here, guys. Last time through, and I guess we'll just take you all the way through the lap. Why not? I am sort of losing wheels here a bit on the left and the right, but it's not really crunch time yet. I mean, I don't want to fall back too far, but if I lose a wheel here or there, not the end of the world. Really, what I want to do is find the end of those leadouts. We talked about this in the previous videos. The leadouts are designed to keep things fast for their sprinters. So you see a line of like 8 or 9 riders. Well, the only guy that's really critical in that leadout is the final rider. So if you're trying to follow, if you're like mid leadout, by the way, they probably wouldn't let you do that. The teams would probably, you know, elbow you or shoulder you out of their leadout train. But it's not good for you anyway, because they're going to be peeling off and you're going to be in an undesirable position with too far to go to sprint. Really, in a drag race sprint finish like this, you want to pop out at the last possible moment. I mean, ideally like 50 or 100 meters, not even kidding. That's when you want to pop out into the wind and do one final sprint to the line, because it's just going to be going that fast. It's going to be so hard to pass people. Finding pretty good little gap here to move up. Project Echelon now organizing on the left a little bit too. I can see them fighting up there with best buddies. And this is how it's going to be. It's just going to be a matter of finding those little gaps. And if you're giving up one wheel, you better make sure that you're making up 2 more on the next corner. That's that sort of thing. This is the little lollipop section of the course. Really crappy pavement on the right to look out for. There's potholes. It's funny, they paint the potholes in yellow as if that's gonna. I mean, the front riders might be able to see, but when you're mid-pack and we're going 30 miles an hour, you're not going to see it in time. Like, you're just going to hit the pothole. It doesn't matter how much paint they put on it. And now you're going to start to see those lead-out riders start to peel off already. And you know, the Germans had 8 or 9 of them, but look, we're still 3 kilometers to go. It's way too early to be losing riders. So I think they've taken the front a little bit too early. I can't remember how they finished in this race, but that's me sitting in my desk chair here. That's what it looks like to me. They're taking the front a little bit too early. And I'm getting a pretty good draft right here on the right, and he's moving up. And suddenly I'm like doing 700 watts, and he's continuing to move up. And it's like, uh-oh, this is not what I want, guys. This might look like a good situation for me. Oh, I'm getting a draft. He's going really hard. But I know he's not going to take this for the entire rest of the race, right? You can't battle a single guy against all of these big leadouts with 5 or 6 riders. And we're 2.5 kilometers from the finish. Blazers, by the way, in the rear cam, they're just on it, right? They're not going to allow this to happen. So I think this is Dave. I think that's his name. A really strong racer. I've raced against him a number of different races, including Intelligentsia in past years. But, like, this is a bad situation for me, believe it or not. You don't want to be too close to the front. You also don't want to be too far back. And this is way too close to the front, because he's going to, like, he's doing 800 watts or something right now. If I'm doing 500 in his draft, yeah, he's done. So now what? It's 2 kilometers to go. I'm not going to attack from here. That's mission impossible. It doesn't matter if you're Fabian Cancellara. You're not going to make it from that distance with lead-out trains behind chasing you back. So you can see I'm going to fall back, and falling back meaning I'm still doing 800 watts, but I'm going to fall back. Here are the Germans on the left. I'm going to try to infiltrate, but man, I mean, people don't let you do that at this level of racing. This is the highest level of crit racing. Well, technically this is a Kermesse, but you get my point. People aren't going to just let you slot in. So I was able to find some shelter, and this is actually the ideal position, but you're going to see I start to lose more wheels than I'm comfortable with. And this is hard for me to watch back, you guys, to be honest with you, because getting bumped around here a little bit, and I just don't have that killer instinct that I've had in years past. I mean, a lot of it might have to do with my injury earlier this year. Broke my collarbone, had a pretty horrific crash, and this is the last thing that heals, you guys. I can jump on a trainer, make awesome power. My fitness is probably the best it's ever been. The last thing that heals is that confidence, that ability to ride just shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, and pushing guys out of your way while you're going 40 miles an hour. Because good fitness alone doesn't translate into criterium success necessarily. A big part of it is that killer instinct, and I wasn't able to flip that switch this year. And it's tough. How many crashes have I seen? There were, 6 crashes? I'm yelling at this guy in front of me. Oh my God, he's just going left and right. Okay, so there's a crash already behind me. There was a crash out of the hairpin you could see in my rear cam too if you rewind it. And it's just chaos, and I just don't have that killer instinct. Like, it's either on or it's off, and in this case, it's off for me. Like, I am not bumping with these crazy Caribbeans who have nothing to lose. That guy in front of me was just going left and right with no regard for his safety or anybody else's safety around him. So I'm going to try to rip a good sprint. I mean, I'm still not even 170 beats per minute. we're 500 meters to go. We're going 36 miles an hour. It's only going to get faster from here. You can see their lead-up trains are on the left and the right. I was kind of trying to decide whether or not I want to go to the left or the right there for a moment, and I went left, which, again, was another mistake because now I'm pushed up against this curb. How close is that guy against the curb on the left? He's still going to pedal. I can't believe how close his pedal was right there. We need to take a closer look at that. First, let's talk through this final sprint finish. We're up at 36 miles an hour. We're going to bring it up to over 40. But look, like, how am I supposed to make up these few last wheels? I'm just dodging riders. Now we're 85 meters to go. I should be third wheel instead of 10th wheel. So I still pop off a good sprint, but whatever. I mean, it was like, I think I ended up getting 12th place. So nothing to write home about. It was my best result so far. But guys, I just haven't gotten to that point yet where I feel confident in a sprint finish. Let's go back and let's see how close this guy's willing to get to this curb. How much he's willing to risk for, like, maybe a couple $100. And to be honest, at this point in this position, you're not going to win anyway. I don't understand, you guys. Anyway, here's the end of the race. Congrats to Clever and the Miami Blazers for a truly incredible race. Clever had a flat tire or some mechanical issue. And don't forget, no free laps here. This is not a criterium. So his entire team dropped back. They team time trialed their way back up to the front of the race where Clever still managed to win the field sprint and the stage overall. It's pretty amazing stuff. But that's it for today, guys. As always, thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.